Good morning to all. Welcome to the online class of microwave antenna of sixth semester. Today I will start our discussion on model number 2, that is microwave network theory and microwave passive devices. In microwave network theory, you are having symmetrical Z and Y parameters for a reciprocal network, S matrix representation of multi-port network, and also introduction about microwave network theory. And the second part of this microwave passive devices, you are having the topic like as coaxial connectors and adapters, attenuators, phase shifters, waveguide, Ts, magic Ts. Now I would like to start on this a topic with introduction. A microwave network consists of coupling of various microwave components and devices such as attenuators, phase shifters, amplifiers, resonators, etc. to the source through transmission line or waveguides. Connection of two or more microwave devices and components to a single point, it results in a microwave junction. When you are going to connect two or more devices, microwave devices, so that will form a single point called as a microwave junction. In low frequency network, the input and output variables are voltage and currents. These voltage and currents can be related in terms of impedance Z parameters or admittance Y parameters or hybrid H parameters or ABCD parameters. In low frequency network, the input and output variables are voltage and currents. These voltage and currents can be related in terms of impedance Z parameters, admittance Y parameters or hybrid H parameters or ABCD parameters. These relationship of for a two-port network as shown in the following figure. You see here, this is the low frequency two-port network. This is a network where you are connected input side, input V1, V1 input voltage, I1 is input current, which is connected to the low frequency network. At the output side, I2 is the output current and V2 is the output voltage. See, if you want to write an equation for this input voltage, okay, so V1 is equal to Z11 I1. Z11 is the input impedance across this port, input port, where your current I1 is flowing, input current I1 is flowing. So V1 is equal to Z11 I1 plus Z12. Z12 is the impedance between input to output terminal into output current I2. So V1 is the sum of input voltage and input impedance, input voltage, input impedance into input current plus output impedance and current, output current. Similarly, V2 is equal to Z21. Z21 is the impedance between output port to input port. I1 is the current, input current plus Z22 is the output impedance only, output port impedance into current I2. So likewise, you have to write the equations for V1 and V2, where V1 is the input voltage and V2 is the output voltage. So if you take this V1 and V2 in terms of matrix, that is equal to Z11, Z12, Z21 and Z22, you take one matrix where I1 and I2 are the column matrix which is taken as a common from above equation. So I1 is equal to V by R1. So here Z1 is there. V1 by 1 over Z1 is represented as an admittance, that is YY1. Y11. So similarly Y11 Y11 into V1 plus Y12 into V2. Similarly I2 is equal to Y21 V1 plus Y22 V2. So if you take I1 I2 is equal to Y1 Y11 Y12 Y21 Y22 So V1 and V2. So now V1 is equal to H11 I1, H11 I1 plus H12 V2, and I2 is equal to H21 I1 and H22 and V2. H11 and H12, H21 and H22 are the hybrid parameters with respect to the corresponding ports, two ports. For example, H11 is the hybrid parameter between in 11 means input port. H12 is the hybrid parameter between one and input port and output port. H21 is the hybrid parameter between output port and input port. Similarly, H22 is the hybrid parameters at the output port. Similarly, you can take V1 I2 is equal to H11 H12 H21 H22 I1 V2. So V1 is equal to A into V2 minus B into I2. I1 is equal to C into V2 minus D into I2, or V1 by I1 is equal to A minus B, C minus D, V2 into I2. So these parameters Z, Y, H and ABCD parameters can be easily measured at low frequencies under short or open circuit conditions. What are these parameters for which you are going to use the two port low frequency two port network analysis? These parameters are Z parameter, Y is the admittance, H parameter and ABCD parameters. These parameters can be easily measured at low frequencies under short circuit or open circuit conditions, and this can be used for analyzing the microwave circuits. The physical length of the device or line at microwave frequencies is comparable to or much larger than the wavelength. The physical length of the device or the line of the microwave frequencies or the line at the microwave frequencies, it is comparably much larger than the wavelength. Due to this, the voltage and currents are difficult to measure. Also, the above mentioned parameters. Because of this length or line at micro frequencies, it will be larger than the wavelength. Because of this, voltage and currents are difficult to measure, and also to measure these hybrid parameters as Z, Y, H and ABCD parameters also. The reason for this, because of following reasons. First one is equipment is not available to measure the total voltage and total current at any point. Why to measure these parameters is difficult at micro frequency? Equipment is not available to the total voltage and total current at any point. Second reason is over a wide range of frequencies, short and open circuits are difficult to realize over a wide range of frequencies. Short and open circuits are difficult to realize. And also, other reason is active devices such as power transistors, tunnel diodes, etc. will become unsuitable for short and will become unstable under short and open circuit conditions. Therefore, a new representation is needed to overcome these problems at microwave frequencies. The logical variables are traveling waves rather than voltages and currents. These variables are labeled as scattering or parameters. The logical variables are traveling waves rather than voltages and currents, and these variables labeled as scattering or parameters. These parameters for two port network are represented as shown in figure. How you are going to represent these parameters, what you have discussed, hybrid parameters, that is Z parameter, Y parameter, H parameters and ABCD parameters in two port network as represented in the following figure. You see, S11 is a input parameter at the input port. S12 is the output parameter from between output port, input port and output port. S21 is the hybrid parameter between output port to input port, and S22 is the output parameter across this output port. These S parameters can be represented in an equation form related to the traveling waves. See here A1, A2. See here A1, this is A2, B1, this is B2. So using this, B1 is equal to, what is this B1? This is the hybrid parameter coming out from the output port to the input port, S21. So that is equal to B1 is equal to S11 A1, S11 A1. This B1 is equal to S11 A1 plus S12 A2. B1 is equal to S11 A1 plus S12 A2. Similarly, B2 is equal to, it is output hybrid parameter across the output port. B2 is equal to S21 A1, S21 A1 plus S22 A2, S22 A2. So like this, you are going to represent these S parameters. Now I will move on to next topic is symmetrical Z and Y parameters for reciprocal network. In reciprocal network, the junction media are characterized by scalar electrical parameters, namely absolute permeability and absolute permittivity. In such network, the impedance and admittance matrices become symmetrical. In reciprocal network, the junction media are characterized by a scalar electrical parameters. What are the scalar electrical parameters? Absolute permittivity and absolute permeability. In such network, the impedance and the admittance matrices become symmetrical. Okay, this property can be proved by considering an n-port network. Let here EJ is the EI is the electric field intensity and HI be the respective electric and magnetic fields intensities at the I port, and let the total voltage output voltage V0 is equal to 0 at all ports for n is equal to 0 to 1 to except at I1 port. Similarly, if E and H are considered for the I port with V is equal to 0 at other ports, then from reciprocity theorem is existed. Now, S matrix representation of multi-port network. S matrix representation of multi-port. How you are going to represent S port? You are having multi-port network. So this is the figure. It is a junction of n number of waveguides or n number of ports you are having. This is port number 1, this is port number 2, this is port number 3i to n. Okay, so here let us now consider a junction of n number of rectangular waveguides as shown in the following figure. In this case, all A's, what are the all AI, A1, A2, A3 up to AN, all A's represent the incident waves at respective ports. All A's represents the incident waves at respective ports. Here AI is there, this is the incident wave at this port. A1 is at port number 1 incident wave, A2 is at port number 2 incident wave, AN is at port number N incident wave. So and B's are reflected waves. See here, B's are BI, B1 and B2, BN, all the output ports. These B1 representing ports represents reflected waves from the microwave junction coming out of the respective ports. In this case also, we are still valid where S and S have the following meanings. Sij means scattering coefficient corresponds to the input power applied at Ij, IH port and output power coming from the J port, and Sij is equal to scattering coefficient corresponds to the power applied at the I port and output taken of the I1H port itself. This coefficient is measure of amount of mismatch between the I port and the junction. This coefficient is a measure of amount of mismatch between the I port and the junction. Now it is the example. Let us consider two-port network as shown here. This is the two-port network. See how you are going to represent incident wave represented and reflected waves. See, port number 1 is the input port, port number 2 is the output port. See, Z is the input impedance, Vs is the source voltage. See, A1 is the incident wave, B1 is the reflected wave. Okay, so total power is the inputted power and this is reflected power. PT is the transmitted power or PI is the incident power at this point, at this input point. Okay, so PR is the reflected power. So what is the input power now? Input power will be the difference between PI minus PR. PI is the input power, PR is the reflected power. So from this point, what will be the power input going to the network, two-port network? It is the difference between input power to the reflected power. So similarly, at the output side, this is the reference point where you are going to calculate the power. So output power P naught will be there. So that will be depends on input power at this between PI and PR. So A1, A2 is the incident voltage, B2 is the incident, reflected scattering matrix is A2. Reflected signal is reflected wave is A2, incident wave is B2, where ZR is the output impedance. So the relationship between the incident and reflected waves in terms of scattering coefficient can be written as the relationship between the incident and reflected waves in terms of scattering coefficients can be written as now insertion loss. Insertion loss in dB is equal to 10 log base 10 1 over magnitude of scatter coefficient between port number 2 and 1 square, that is equal to 20 log 1 over magnitude of S1. S21 is equal to 20 log 1 over magnitude of S12. Okay, so second one is transmission loss or attenuation loss in dB. So this is equal to 10 log base 10 Pi minus PR divided by P naught, where Pi is incident power at input port, PR is reflected power at the input port, P naught is the output power at output port. So 10 log base 10 Pi is represented by A1 magnitude of A1 square minus magnitude of B1 square divided by B2 magnitude of B2 square. So similarly, after substituting this, we will be getting 10 log base 10 1 minus S11 square divided by magnitude of S21 square. Similarly, reflection loss in dB. So that will gives you 10 log base 10 of Pi divided by Pi minus PR. Pi divided by Pi minus PR, you will be getting 10 log 10 base of 1 divided by 1 minus magnitude of S11 whole square. So now return loss in dB. So that is equal to 10 log base 10 Pi divided by PR. So that will gives you 20 log base 10 of 1 divided by S11. So now I will move on to what are the properties of S matrix. So in general, the scattering matrix, scattering parameters are complex quantities having the following properties. What is the property of S matrix? Property number 1. When any Z1 H port is perfectly matched to the junction. When any Z1 H port is perfectly matched to the junction, then there are no reflections from the port. Thus, S is equal to 0. If all the ports are perfectly matched, then the leading diagonal second element will all be 0. Listen carefully. When any Z11H port is perfectly matched to the junction, then there are no reflection from the port. That is S is equal to 0. If all the ports are perfectly matched, then the leading diagonal elements, second elements will all be 0. Second property of S matrix, symmetric property of S matrix. If a microwave junction satisfies reciprocity condition and if there are no active devices, then S parameters are equal to their corresponding transposes. What is the symmetric property of S matrix? If a microwave junction satisfies reciprocity condition and if there are no active devices, then S parameters are equal to their corresponding transposes. That is Sij is equal to Sji. For this derivation, you are having the proof. The steady state voltage and current at the ith port are given by Vi is equal to Vi1 plus Vi1 minus. Ii is equal to Vi plus divided by Zout ZOI minus Vi minus divided by ZOI, where Vi plus is incident voltage at the I port, Vi minus is the reflected voltage from the I port, so ZOI is the characteristic impedance. So if you put these equations in above equations, Vi plus is equal to half into Vi plus ZOI into II. Vi minus is equal to half into Vi minus ZOI into II. The average incident power, which is in complex, at the I port is half into Vi into II, where II is star, star indicates complex conjugate. That will be is equal to V magnitude of Vi plus whole square divided by 2 ZOI because of impedance is complex conjugate. So therefore, the normalized incident and reflected voltages at the I port can be defined as AI is equal to Vi plus divided by under the root of ZOI, that is equal to 1 divided by 2 into Vi divided by root of ZOI plus into root of ZOI into III. Similarly, Bi is equal to Vi minus under the root of ZOI, that is equal to 1 by 2 into Vi divided by under the root of ZY minus under the root of ZOI to II. If the characteristic impedance is also normalized so that ZOI is under the root ZOI is equal to 1, then if you put here 1, then your AI is equal to half into Vi plus II. Bi is equal to 1 over 2 into Vi minus II. So this is the symmetrical property proof. So in property 3, unitary property for a lossless junction. This property states that for any lossless network, the sum of products of each term of any one row or any one column of the Sj matrix with complex conjugate is unity. Unitary property for a lossless junction, that is property number 3. This property states that for any lossless network, the sum of the products of each term of any one row or any one column of the is complex Sj matrix with its complex conjugate is unity. So for this you are having the proof. From the principle of conservation of energy, if the junction is lossless, then the power input must be equal to the power output. The incident and reflected waves are related to the incident and reflected voltages by having A is equal to V plus divided by root Z naught and B is equal to V minus divided by root Z naught. Therefore, incident power P plus is equal to half into A complex conjugate of A is equal to half into magnitude of A square, and reflected power P minus is equal to half into B of complex conjugate B is equal to half into magnitude of B whole square. When this junction is lossless, then no real power can be delivered to the network. When the junction is lossless, then no real power can be delivered to the network. Thus, if the characteristic impedance of all the ports are identical and assumed to be unity or perfectly normalized, the average power delivered to the junction is zero. So therefore, P average is equal to half into real summation of I is equal to 1 to nth port Vi into Ii complex conjugate is equal to 0, where Ii complex conjugate is equal to complex conjugate of Ii. Using these equations, half into real, you substitute AI plus BI in above equation. AI minus BI complex conjugate is equal to 0. After simplified, you will be getting A complex conjugate of A minus B complex conjugate of B is equal to 0. So B is equal to S into A. Taking complex conjugate on both sides, B complex conjugate is equal to S complex conjugate into A complex conjugate. Using above equations, A into complex conjugate of A minus S into complex conjugate A into a complex conjugate like this is equal to 0. So A into complex conjugate of A into U minus S into S complex conjugate is equal to 0. So like this you are going to simplify and derive this equation. This property is called summation of k is equal to 1 to n ski into complex conjugate of kj is equal to 0. This is called as unitary property. So this property of equation 8 on S matrix is sometimes also called as zero property. This unitary property or this unitary property, it is also sometimes called zero property. It states that product of any column of S with the complex conjugate of that column gives unity, while it states that product of any column of S with complex conjugate of a different column gives 0. So now fourth property of S matrix is phase shift property. Complex S parameters of a network are defined with respect to the position of the port or reference planes. For a two-port network with unprimed reference planes 1 and 2 as shown in above figure 4.6, the S parameters have definite complex values. What is this property? Complex S parameters of a network are defined with respect to the position of the port or reference planes. For a two-port network with unprimed reference planes 1 and 2 as shown in figure 4.6, the parameters have definite complex values. So this is the figures you have to use to derive the above property. This is called as a phase shift property of S. So this is how you are having the above property is called as a phase shift property applicable to the shift or reference planes. Now, what are the comparison between S, Z and Y matrices? So here we know that impedance or admittance matrix for an n-port network represents all circuit characteristics of the device at any given frequency. Like the impedance or admittance matrix for n-port network, the S matrix also provides Q complete description of the network as seen at its n ports, while Z and Y matrices relate the total voltages and currents at all the ports. The S matrix relates the voltage waves incident on the ports to those reflected from the ports. Now, from equation 4.52, that is scattering matrix S is related to the impedance matrix Z, that is given by this equation. S is equal to Z minus U, unitary property, into Z plus U universe. In similar way, the relationship between S and admittance Y can also be expressed as S is equal to U minus Y into universe of U plus Y. So these are the comparison between S, Z and Y parameters. The characteristics of common characteristics between S, Z and Y are like this. The number of elements in all these matrices are same. For reciprocal networks, all the three matrices S, Z and Y are symmetric matrices. The advantages of scattering matrix S over Z and Y can be listed below. One is using microwave measurement technique, frequency voltage wave ratio, power and phase of the microwave signals can be easily measured. Measurement of VSWR is nothing but measurement of B by A. Power is measurement of between 1 and 1 2, and measurement of phase is measurement of B2, such as direct one-to-one relationship does not exist with Z and Y parameters. So similar, therefore your scattering matrix is having more advantage. Second advantage of scattering matrix is the power relations of lossless microwave circuits and devices can be readily checked by using unitary property of S matrix. Such a quick check is not available with Z or Y matrices. Third advantage of S matrix is the case of Z and Y matrices. The voltages and currents are function of complex impedances and admittances respectively. When the reference planes are changed, there is change in both magnitude and phase of the impedances and admittances. But in the case of S matrix, the change in the reference plane changes only the phase of the scattering parameters. So these are the main advantages of S matrix over Z and Y parameters. So these are the following questions recommended for the preparation of your uh, examination purpose. So this completes half part of the model 2, and the second part of the model 2 I will continue in the next session. Thank you one and all.